just woke up from a long sleep. I decided to stop being a simp chasing the school beauty for 7 years. Turning back, I set my sights on the violent school overlord, the one I used to avoid like the plague. I even dared to plant a loud kiss on her cold face. Seeing this, her underlings beside her not only didn't stop me, but were also thoughtful enough to pool money for us to get a hotel room. The reason I am so bold is because in my past life, I didn't know, until I was on my deathbed, that the school overlord, Liu Ruyan, was in love with me to the bone. But because of her insecurities and sensitivity, she was afraid of rejection, so she never dared to confess. She only dared to love me secretly from afar. She waited until I was paralyzed to take the chance to be by my side, meticulously taking care of me for 3 whole years. Therefore, upon returning to this 11th grade year, I decided I would proactively approach her. Just like in my past life, the class president, Gu Ba, walked over and nudged my arm lightly. Come with me to find Liu Ruyan. As if afraid of being misunderstood, he quickly continued to explain. The student council will be doing an inspection tomorrow. Her skipping class will cause our class conduct points to be deducted. I am only doing this for the collective good of the class. I looked at Gui Bada and remembered that something like this also happened in my past life. But at that time, I didn't want to get involved with someone like the school overlord Liu Ruyan, so I didn't hesitate to refuse immediately. After that, Gui Bada went to find Liu Ruyan alone. When he returned the next day, he just cried silently. I asked what had happened, but Gui Bada refused to say a single word. Because of that incident, I became even more certain that Liu Ruyan was not someone to be trifled with. From then on, I always subconsciously found ways to avoid her. As a result, the already scarce connection between us became even more distant. Are you coming or not? Returning to the present, I nodded slightly. Of course, to understand more about her current life in the apartment complex. Let's go. Let's go. I am about to starve to death. Liu Ruyan walked in front. They were lethargically discussing what to eat. Unexpectedly, as soon as they opened the door, they saw 2 male students standing right outside the door. Gui Bada, and I also didn't expect the door to open. So suddenly, both of us were stunned, our eyes wide. When she saw me, Liu Ruyan's gaze paused for a moment, but then she immediately and naturally looked away. Liu Ruyan asked coldly, "Do I know you people?" Gui Bada formally introduced himself. After the classes were reassigned, "You're in Class 7, and I am the president of Class 7. I came looking for you to remind you to come back to school tomorrow." Liu Ruyan curled her lips slightly and let out a sneer. "Whether I go to school or not, what does it have to do with you?" Gui Bada said seriously, "If you don't go, not only will your personal conduct score be deducted, but it will also affect the competition score of the entire class." Classmate Liu Ruyan, I hope you have some sense of collective responsibility. Don't affect the entire class. Liu Ruyan looked as if she had heard something ridiculous. Collective responsibility? Sorry, I've never had such a thing. If you're afraid of me dragging you down, you can just transfer classes. Then why don't you transfer? Because I don't feel like it. So what? Liu Ruyan licked her lips. She had no mood to continue talking to him, being in the same class as me. Consider it your bad luck. If there's something you're not happy with, deal with it yourself. If you can't deal with it, then it's best to shut up and endure it. Got it? Gui Bada's face flushed red with anger. Liu Ruyan, in middle school, your grades were so good, but now you've fallen so far. Don't you feel you've let your parents down? Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing, who were originally standing with their arms crossed watching the show, suddenly heard this sentence. Both of their expressions changed instantly. Liu Ruyan's father was a gambler. In the year of the high school entrance exams, just for 2,000 yuan, he accidentally beat her mother to death and then fled without a trace. Liu Ruyan's personality also changed from that moment on. She started to become rebellious. Her parents were always her hidden pain. Coincidentally, yesterday was the anniversary of her mother's death. She spent the entire day at the cemetery and only returned early this morning. The two of them didn't even dare to ask a single question. Yet this trashy class president popped up out of nowhere and dared to touch on someone else's sore spot, as expected. Liu Ruyan's gaze suddenly turned bone-chillingly cold. "Mr. Class President wants to control me," she smirked. Her smile was full of mystery. "I'll humor you. Play a game with me. If you win, then from now on, I will listen to you. Are you serious?" At this moment, Gui Bada still didn't know how formidable this girl was. He only thought about being able to tame the school's big boss like this. His ego soared. He believed it to be true. He was even afraid she would change her mind. So he hastily agreed. "I'll play with you. You have to keep your word." Liu Ruyan said languidly. "Come in." Gui Bada was about to follow, when he suddenly remembered I was still standing behind him. He turned around and said, "Xiao Fan, you can go back first. Thanks for coming with me today." I shook my head and followed Liu Ruyan inside. "I think I should stay with you. There's no need. Liu Ruyan didn't invite you to play." Gui Bada blocked me with his hand, but when he met my deep, quiet gaze, he subconsciously felt that his petty calculations had been seen through, making him extremely flustered. His voice naturally became a mumble. "It's getting late." I stared sternly at Gui Bada for a moment and pushed his hand away. Walking straight into the living room, Liu Ruyan heard the noise and turned around. Her surprised gaze rested on me. She frowned slightly in annoyance. Did I invite you? The Liu Ruyan of this year still didn't have the maturity and composure she had when she took care of me later. The corners of her eyes were filled with a wild and distant look, both cool and full of personality, carrying an irresistible charm that captivated people, extremely dangerous. Under the pressure of her overwhelming aura and her sharp gaze, I honestly answered no. The boy's jet black eyes were as gentle as water, making Liu Ruyan feel as if she were being burned by fire. She said irritably, "Then why? Haven't you gotten out yet?" I was stunned by her fierce attitude. During the 3 years she cared for me in my past life, Liu Ruyan was always gentle and doted on me endlessly, which made me forget that at this moment. She was a princess full of thorns. I looked into the girl's cold eyes, and my heart just kept sinking. Right now, there was absolutely no trace of her secret love for me, nor did I see the insecurity or sensitivity she once mentioned, only ruthless coldness, a fierce look and clear distance. This discovery made my mood turn sour, but I was still unwilling to give up right at the start. I had to risk it and try to negotiate with her. "I want to stay here. Can I?" "You can't. I don't want to see your face here. Get lost now." She was really fierce at this moment. I felt both wronged and scared. My hands were clasped together tightly in confusion. The next second, I gathered all my courage, my voice trembling but resolute. I am not leaving." Liu Ruyan laughed out of anger. "Just a few words, and he's already this scared. If he insists on staying and sees my truly terrifying side later, he'll probably run away from me for the rest of his life." Bei Ningbing saw that I was on the verge of tears and spoke up to defuse the situation. "Sister Liu, look, our school heartthrob is so pitifully scared. If he wants to stay, just let him stay. He's not in the way or anything." "What the hell do you know?" Liu Ruyan replied irritably. "Forget it." At this moment, Gui Ba Da interjected. "Don't pay him any mind. Classmate Liu Ruyan, let's start the game." But Liu Ruyan didn't pay him any attention. Instead, she turned to ask me again, "Are you really not leaving?" I remained silent, not answering. Liu Ruyan suddenly strode towards me and dragged me straight into the bedroom. The expressions of everyone present changed. Dui Ba Da's face froze. "Classmate Liu Ruyan." Chen Yu was so angry he gritted his teeth and questioned her. "Liu Ruyan, what the hell are you doing?" Chen, Jiang, and Bei Ningbing also asked in bewilderment. "Sister Liu." Liu Ruyan acted as if she heard nothing. She just held my hand tightly, with her long legs. It only took a few steps to reach the bedroom. She pushed open the door and shoved me inside. I was about to turn around and run out, but Liu Ruyan was even faster. The sound of the door slamming shut and being locked echoed. Every movement was smooth and decisive. I couldn't believe it and tried turning the doorknob. As expected, it couldn't be opened anymore. "Liu Ruyan, let me out." I pressed my ear against the door to listen carefully, but I couldn't hear any noise from outside. It seems this room is very soundproof. I let out a soft sigh. I didn't understand why Liu Ruyan did that, but I knew for sure she wouldn't let me out any time soon. Helplessly, I turned back to observe the room. What surprised me was that, to the right of the computer, several books were stacked very neatly. Their titles were all things I recognized. For example, Practical C Programming Language, or C++ Primer Plus. Looking at these stacks of books, I couldn't help but be surprised that she had been self-studying these things so early on. The room wasn't very big. It only took a few minutes for me to look over everything. After that, I started to feel restless. A bedroom is an extremely private space. When my curiosity subsided, I could feel her presence everywhere. I was so flustered I didn't know what to do. I didn't dare to sit on her bed. On the only computer chair were her long socks. I definitely didn't dare to touch her personal belongings carelessly. In the end, I could only stand there awkwardly, silently wishing for that door to be opened soon. After locking me in the bedroom, Liu Ruyan turned around and saw faces with various expressions. Then she silently walked to the refrigerator, took out an apple, and threw it straight at Gui Ba Da. Gui Ba Da frantically caught it and said, "Classmate Liu Ruyan, you're too kind. Thanks for the apple. But I don't really like apples. What I like is..." "Who said you could eat it?" Liu Ruyan cut him off coldly. She pointed in a direction and ordered, "You want to play a game, right? Go stand over there." Do Ba Da awkwardly let out an O. Holding the apple with both hands, he shuffled to the indicated spot. "What's the game? What counts as a win? If I win, will you really agree to go back to school?" Liu Ruyan picked up a set of darts and sat down on the sofa. She tilted her head slightly and said, "Put the apple on your head." Gui Ba Da felt that something was wrong. He hesitated. "Are you playing or not? If not, get out." Liu Ruyan urged impatiently. "Hurry up." Gui Ba Da thought about her promise and had to comply. He placed the apple on his head, staring worriedly at Liu Ruyan. What kind of game is this? What are the rules?" Liu Ruyan gave a wicked smile. "The rule is, throw the dart. As long as you don't dodge, it counts as my win." Gui Ba Da's face immediately turned pale. Liu Ruyan, he was so scared, his legs were trembling. Who knows how good her aim is? What if she misses, and it hits my body or my face? Stand still for me. Liu Ruyan sneered indifferently. Gui Ba Da cried out, trembling. His voice was broken with fear. But Liu Ruyan didn't give him any more time to think. Annoyed, she casually picked up a dart and just threw it straight ahead. Teasing was scared out of his wits. The moment he saw the dart flying towards him, he screamed and instinctively dodged to the side. His legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the floor, his whole body trembling uncontrollably. Thud, the dart cut through the air and embedded itself deep in the wall behind. Its vibrating sound still seemed to echo in his ears. Ba looked up, shivering. His face became even more drained of color. That spot was originally where his face was. The feeling of terror still enveloped his mind. The way he looked at Liu Ruyan now no longer had any of the spirit of a male student, but was filled only with utter terror. She's truly terrifying. A complete lunatic. Now, just wanted to flee immediately. He scrambled up from the floor and tremblingly rushed out the door. Liu Ruyan let out a cold, contemptuous snort. She stood up from the sofa and told the remaining people, "You guys go eat, don't worry about me." Chen Jiang's gaze flickered towards the bedroom. "Sister Liu, should we bring back some food for you later?" After a moment's hesitation, he deliberately probed further. "Or should we bring back 2 portions? No need." She flatly refused. Chen Jiang said, "Oh," he tried to hold it in, but couldn't resist. Sister Liu, our school heartthrob is famous for being a coward. I think he looked pretty terrified just now. If it's nothing important, then maybe you should let him go home." "Did I say I wasn't going to let him go?" Liu Ruyan lazily shot him a sideways glance. Chen Jiang cleared his throat softly and mumbled under his breath, "Then you should let him go home. It's not like I am going to eat him alive. Am I?" Liu Ruyan was annoyed as soon as she heard him. Chen Jiang touched his nose and said sarcastically, "Who knows about that?" Liu Ruyan looked at his demeanor and kicked out at him. "Get those dirty thoughts out of your head. Get out of my sight quickly." Whoa, me? Dirty? Chen Jiang said in a teasing tone. "Even if I am dirty, I am not as." Bai Ningbing raised her eyebrows with great interest. It seemed she had figured something out. She put an arm around Chen Jiang's shoulder and dragged him out. Covering his mouth, she said, Go. Let's go eat. Why are you always meddling in other people's business? Sister Liu always knows what she's doing. Have you ever seen her mess up?" Chen Jiang couldn't argue back. Actually, he also knew in his heart that Liu Ruyan wouldn't do anything excessive, but he still added a reminder. "It's already past 8 o'clock. Our school heartthrob is a good student. You'd better let him go home early. Otherwise, watch out for him." "Get out," Liu Ruyan shouted, having lost all patience. "Don't be angry, Sister Liu. Well, drag him off to be executed right away." Bai Ningbing laughed loudly and pulled Chen Jiang outside. The two of them walked past Chen Yu. From the moment Liu Ruyan locked me in the bedroom, Chen Yu, who had been scowling all this time, suddenly spoke up. "Liu Ruyan, you really like him, don't you?" My appearance made Chen Yu feel an immense threat. Not to mention, not even Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing were ever allowed to set foot in her bedroom. Yet today, she proactively stuffed a boy, whom she had only met a few times and wasn't close to, into her private room. Now she even wants to kick all of them out, to be alone with that guy. How could that not make him worry, get angry, and feel jealous? "Liu Ruyan, answer me." Liu Ruyan rubbed her neck slightly. She didn't bother to answer his question, but just spoke up irritably. "You can get lost, too." Chen Yu's face suddenly turned pale. "I knew it. You set your sights on him, haven't you? Your boyfriend. How can you be so promiscuous? Do you think you deserve my feelings by doing this?" Liu Ruyan suddenly shot him a cold look. Her voice was full of sarcasm. "I've always been promiscuous. You're only just realizing that now?" Chen Yu choked on his anger. She was indeed shamelessly promiscuous, but Liu Ruyan didn't care at all about his feelings. She continued to raise an eyebrow and said in an indifferent tone, "If you can accept it, well, continue. If not, let's break up." Chen Yu's eyes suddenly stung. He was also a school heartthrob once. In the past, his pursuers always served and pampered him, always finding ways to coax him. Only Liu Ruyan completely disregarded him, not even bothering to frown. In the end, until his fingertips were numb from clenching them, he finally turned and left. Resentfully, "Remember to eat dinner. Don't let yourself go hungry. I'll come find you again tomorrow." Liu Ruyan let out a soft sneer. The laugh was as faint as a thread, but it made him feel utterly humiliated, and he hastily turned and fled. After waiting for everyone to leave, she walked over and opened the bedroom door, finding me standing there in a daze. "What are you doing just standing there like a statue?" I stole a quick glance at her, and immediately averted my gaze. I like standing." Liu Ruyan looked at my demeanor, the way I wanted to look but didn't dare to look at her. She suddenly found it amusing. "Do I look that scary?" I lowered my head and replied softly, "No, not scary at all." "If I am not scary, then why don't you dare look at me?" Liu Ruyan said with a teasing smile. "A student who doesn't look the other person in the eye while talking, that's considered very impolite, you know. Don't good students like you know that?" "Lift your head," she ordered in a low voice. "Otherwise, don't even think about going home tonight." Startled, I quickly looked up at her. Her pupils were jet black. Her gaze was clear, without a trace of impurity. It made Liu Ruyan's heart skip a beat. She pursed her lips slightly, revealing her delicate jawline. She said nothing, which made her appear even sharper and colder. I only glanced at her for a moment, but already felt a heavy pressure weighing down on me. To dispel the awkward atmosphere, I pretended nothing was wrong and slipped past her to go outside. "Where are my friends?" "They all left." I was surprised. They left? Hearing that, I quickly walked out to the living room. Sure enough, there was no one there. Liu Ruyan leisurely followed behind. She didn't say anything either, just quietly stood and watched me. I asked curiously, "What game did you play with my friend?" Liu Ruyan gave a mischievous smile. "I am not telling you." "All right then." The young Liu Ruyan was truly both stubborn and defiant. Once she decided not to say something, I knew I would never be able to pry it out of her. So I didn't press the matter, and changed to a different question. "So, are you going to school tomorrow?" Liu Ruyan raised an eyebrow. "Why should I have to go?" "Because we're students. We need to study hard and make progress every day." "Study hard my ass. Make progress every day." Liu Ruyan's eyes widened. She let out a lazy laugh. "That's something for you good students. We're the bad students who skip class." "Got it, little one. Do you know what the first rule for bad students is?" "There's a code of conduct for bad students." "That doesn't sound very proper." I hesitated and shook my head. "I don't know." After saying that, I saw she was still staring at me, so I added another sentence. "What is it?" Liu Ruyan smirked. She seemed to be in a very good mood, she said leisurely. "The first rule for bad students is that you're forbidden to go to school. You're required to skip class." As expected, she just made that up. Speechless, I shot her a look. This look was gentle and soft, like a kitten's paw lightly scratching her heart. The emotions buried deep in her heart were like bamboo shoots after the rain, sprouting frantically and growing at an incredible rate. Liu Ruyan came to stand in front of me. She bent down slightly, with a hint of imperceptible restlessness and tension. "Little one, do you really hope he'll go to school?" I nodded. "Why?" The distance between us was so close I could feel her hot breath puffing densely against my ear. "What's this? Are you trying to flirt with me?" An imperceptible restlessness and tension. "Little one, do you really want me to go to school?" I nodded slightly. "But why?" We were so close that I could feel her warm breath gently brushing against my ear. "What's this? You want to?" The direct and unabashed teasing immediately made my face flush. After asking, Liu Ruyan didn't rush me for an answer. Her cold eyes were suddenly tinged with a bit of flirtatiousness, carrying a hint of a playful smile. She just stared at me quietly. I took a step back. I said blankly, "I have to go home now." After saying that, I strode towards the exit. Liu Ruyan suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly. The cool and pure sensation made the sweet feeling she had just suppressed ignite fiercely once again. "Let me take you home." "No need." I refused instinctively. "I can take the bus." Even though I've lived 2 lives, my mental age is only in my early 22nd, but I still couldn't handle the teenage Liu Ruyan. So proud and dazzling, like a thorny rose. The 3 years we spent together day and night in my past life. Her feelings were gentle and subtle, not fiery and dazzling like this, without a care for anything. Although I didn't understand why before, she treated me so coldly. But in this moment, she made me believe that her secret love for me was real, because the way she looked at me was too brilliant, like a small leopard that had just seen its prey, determined to possess it completely, making it impossible for anyone to ignore under such a fiery gaze. My heart couldn't help but skip a beat. I pulled my hand back and said softly, "Let go of my hand." "I won't." The girl gave a flirtatious smile. "Look at what time it is. The buses stopped running long ago. It'll take you home." She didn't give me a chance to refuse. She pulled me along to get her vehicle key. Then she thrust a helmet into my arms. The 2 of us went downstairs together. Liu Ruyan told me to wait for a moment. A moment later, the headlight of a motorcycle shone over. The roar of the engine followed immediately. I looked in that direction. I saw her emerge from the darkness. Then she slowly stopped beside me. "Get on." Just then, my phone rang. Liu Ruyan casually turned off the engine. The roaring sound disappeared. The surroundings became quiet. She motioned with her chin. "Answer it." Smartphones started becoming popular this year, but I was still using a Nokia with a keypad. It was something my parents bought for me, so it would be easier to contact me. The call was from my mother, Liu Ru. She naturally had a very loud voice. Her voice carried far from the earpiece. "Xiao Fan, it's past 8 p.m. Where are you?" Today, before going with Gui Boda to find Liu Ruyan, I had called Liu Ru first. I lied and said I was going out to eat and walk around with Song Ji. Once you've told the first lie, you can only cover it up with another lie. I answered slowly. I am still eating at the pedestrian street. Don't worry, Mom. I'll be home soon." Liu Ru knew her son was well behaved, so she didn't doubt my words at all. "All right. Do you need me to come pick you up?" I instinctively glanced at Liu Ruyan. Then I shook my head and said, "No, it's okay. I can get a ride home myself." After hanging up, Liu Ruyan started the engine again. The girl tossed her long hair. "Get on, my dear customer. Driver Liu is at your dedicated service." The corners of my lips turned up slightly. I held onto the seat and climbed on. Grabbed the hem of my shirt. She didn't turn her head. She said while adjusting the rearview mirror, "It's not safe for you to sit like that. You'll get thrown off. Then just drive slowly." "If I drive slowly, you probably won't get home for another 2 hours. She had me cornered. She asked leisurely, "Are you sure?" I wasn't sure. I already felt guilty for lying to my mom. If I came home that late, she would be very worried. I had no choice but to grab the hem of her shirt. "Let's go. Let me give you the address. You just need to stop 2 streets away from my house." Liu Ruyan hummed in agreement. Then she started the engine. After driving for a bit, I suddenly lowered my voice. I realized this wasn't the way home. Looking closely, The place ahead looked a bit familiar. Why are we at the pedestrian street? Good students shouldn't lie to their mothers. So I am really taking you here to eat, Liu Ruyan said in a teasing tone. She stopped the motorcycle. She told me to get off first. Then she swung her long legs off the bike. Let's go. What should we eat? I asked her. What do you want to eat? In our past life, when we ate together, she always went along with what I wanted. She always said that whatever I liked, she liked too. To the point that even now, I still have no idea what her preferences are. Eat whatever you're eating, she said. Then she glanced at the brightly lit row of shops, asking about them one by one. Rice noodles, spicy soup, or mini hot pot. I looked at her with a gentle gaze. Is there anything you want to eat? Oh. Liu Ruyan looked at me and swallowed softly. I want to eat something sweet. I was very surprised. I never expected this thorny princess to like sweets. She didn't look like someone who likes sweets at all. Sweets can't be a main course. Let's go eat a proper meal first. After we eat, I'll go buy some for you, okay? I looked at her, negotiating with her. Liu Ruyan's gaze swept across my face. Her tongue gently pushed against her teeth. All right, then what do you want to eat? Realizing the conversation had come full circle, I softly added another sentence. Other than sweets, anything is fine. It was impossible to hope she would name something she wanted to eat. In the end, I took her to eat wontons. 2 bowls of hot, plump white wontons were brought out. The two of us started eating. Liu Ruyan ate very elegantly, but for some reason, her bowl was empty very quickly. After finishing, she didn't rush me, nor did she say anything. She just sat opposite me, waiting. I could feel her eyes fixed on my face. It made me feel a little flustered. Eating that bowl of wontons was torture. It was like sitting on pins and needles. After forcing myself to eat a few more bites, I put down my chopsticks and said I was full. Liu Ruyan looked at the half-full bowl I left behind. You eat less than a cat. Classmate, you're so easy to raise. I think if it were anyone else, being stared at by her like that, they wouldn't have any appetite to eat either. Liu Ruyan called the owner over to pay the bill. I didn't forget that she wanted to eat sweets. As soon as we left the wonton shop, I led the way to a dessert shop. Which one do you like? My treat. I told her to pick one. Thinking about my meager allowance at the moment, I gently reminded her, but don't pick anything too expensive. My honesty made Liu Ruyan laugh. Then give me a specific price range. I gritted my teeth and said, 100 yuan. In this year, 100 yuan for me was a very large expense. What a generous boss. She giggled. But she still played along. She pretended to look at the different cakes. The cakes in the display case came in all shapes and colors. It was like stepping into a fairy tale world. When she saw a rabbit-shaped cake, Liu Ruyan's gaze suddenly stopped. I keenly noticed it. This one? Let's get it. It's so much like her. So white and delicate, and soft and sweet. The owner came to box the cake. I was about to pay, but Liu Ruyan was faster. I told you it was my treat. I mumbled softly. She took the small cake box. She laughed teasingly. What's wrong? Are you really trying to flirt with me? Trying to win me over with that 100 yuan? You can't afford to be my sugar daddy then. I am very expensive. If you want to win me over, then, classmate, you'll have to try much harder. After buying the cake, we went outside. Liu Ruyan glanced at the time. It really was getting late, so she told me to get on the motorcycle. The motorcycle sped down the road. She kept her word, dropping me off 2 streets away from my house. The whole way, I was thinking about how to earn more money, so I could buy her more sweets in the future, until Liu Ruyan told me to get off. I finally snapped out of it. After saying goodbye, I started walking home. I had only taken a few steps, when I suddenly remembered something important. I quickly ran back. Liu Ruyan, are you coming to school tomorrow? Liu Ruyan casually took the helmet that I had just worn and put it on her own head. My scent immediately enveloped her. For some reason, her mind suddenly became foggy. Her voice unconsciously softened. You'll find out tomorrow. I nodded and said, enunciating each word clearly. In short, I really hope to see you at school tomorrow. Society in the future is incredibly competitive. A degree is the most basic stepping stone. I know Liu Ruyan is truly capable. Even if she often skipped class like in her past life, she could still achieve great things later in life. Someone as outstanding as her. I believe that in this life, with a university degree, she would surely be like a tiger with wings, going even further, climbing even higher, becoming an even more admirable existence. The next morning, I woke up a little late. By the time I rushed to school on my bike, the morning self-study session was about to start. Teacher Liu, our homeroom teacher, was already standing at the podium. As I walked towards my seat, I unconsciously glanced at the last row of seats. Liu Ruyan's seat was still completely empty. She still didn't come after all. I thought she would change her mind and come to school. I pursed my lips slightly and sighed inwardly. After sitting down, I opened my book and started studying. During the morning self-study, Yu Boda kept his head down. His state was exactly the same as in my past life. He didn't look well at all. When the self-study session ended, he immediately buried his face in his desk, as if he wanted to shut out the whole world. I got the hint and didn't go over to ask. I had to mull over all my questions by myself. Song Ji asked me to go to the restroom with him. I stood up to go out and get some fresh air. What's wrong with the class president? Song Ji was so curious he couldn't sit still. As soon as I arrived, I saw that his eyes were all swollen. When we just went out, was he crying? Even though I went with him yesterday, the results seemed to be unchanged. And I still don't know what kind of game Liu Ruyan Played with Goi Boda yesterday. I replied that I didn't know. I didn't hear any crying, but I also saw that his eyes were swollen. What on earth happened to him? Song-ji became even more suspicious. Unable to resist, he transformed into Sherlock Holmes. He began to analyze every detail meticulously. In my opinion, it can't be because he failed an exam, because we just started the school year. I expressed my agreement. Your analysis is well-founded. Very realistic. Song-ji guessed back and forth, and then refuted. Each one himself. Finally, he clapped his hands. I'll ask my tarot cards when we get back to class, to see what on earth happened. I was a little skeptical. Are tarot cards that accurate? Tarot cards are omnipotent. You know. Song-ji stared at me decisively. How audacious. You tiny, insignificant ants. How dare you doubt the tarot cards? I quickly played along. This humble one knows his mistake. Please, Lord Tarot, spare my life. Song-ji burst out laughing. Xiao fan, really? You're playing along so enthusiastically. How can you be so adorable? The two of us returned to the classroom, talking and laughing. Song-ji didn't like Gui Boda to begin with, so he didn't follow me to my seat to continue gossiping. As soon as he entered the classroom, he slipped back to his own seat. The bell for class rang. W.Y. Boda still had his face buried in his desk. I thought for a moment and still decided to remind him. Class president, are you asleep? Class is about to start. Guy Boda lifted his face. Tears were streaming down it. I took a tissue out of my desk drawer. I pulled one out and gave it to him. Here. Wipe your face. Guy Boda cried even harder. After wiping his face, he choked out. Liu Ruyan. She's really too scary. From now on, I am never going to bother with her again. You better stay away from her too. We simply can't afford to get involved with her. She's really fierce. He cried while mixing in resentful complaints, but he didn't mention a single word about what had happened. So I was smart enough not to ask any further. After Gui Boda finished crying, seeing that the teacher still hadn't entered the classroom, he couldn't help but steer the topic towards me. Oh, right. What happened between you and her yesterday? She locked you in her bedroom. What did she do to you? His words were more probing than concerned. I didn't want to say much. Nothing happened. Really? Gui Boda stared at my face. He didn't seem to believe it. Could it be that you two did something you shouldn't have? I could feel my tone becoming irritated. I looked up straight at him. What do you mean by something we shouldn't have? Gui Boda's face flushed slightly, faced with my clear gaze. He really couldn't bring himself to say those dirty words. He paused for a moment then said, Hey, Xiao fan, she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is a delinquent from the vocational school next door. And honestly, someone like Liu Ruyan is both promiscuous and unambitious. I really don't understand why. So many people like her. What does any of that have to do with me? I said in a low voice. Gui Boda put on a concerned expression. He said in a cautionary tone, I am just looking out for you. I am afraid you'll be deceived by her. If you don't want to get hurt and don't want to get into trouble, then don't pay any attention to her. She doesn't even bother coming to school. So how could I pay attention to her? Gui Boda was choked up and couldn't say a word. I couldn't be bothered with him anymore. I opened my book and lowered my head to read. Gui Boda looked at my profile. His brows furrowed slightly. The me of the past year was very quiet. Why does it feel like, since yesterday, I've become a little unusual? And also, after he left yesterday, what exactly happened between Liu Ruyan and me? What really happened? If nothing really happened, then why am I being so tight-lipped? Gui Boda's gaze gradually became profound. All sorts of strange speculations popped into his head. Just then, the math teacher walked into the classroom. He had to quickly gather his thoughts and focus on the lecture. The math teacher's surname was Wang. She was a woman in her 50 seconds. In this class, we will learn about spatial geometry. Inside the quiet classroom, the sound of girls laughing and talking suddenly came from the hallway, along with footsteps that were getting closer. Teacher Wang frowned. She told Wang Qian, who was sitting near the door, to close it. Wang Qian had just stood up when three figures suddenly appeared at the door. The person in the lead was Liu Ruyan. Her voice was a little lethargic. It seemed she wasn't fully awake yet. Her indifferent eyes were half closed, making her look even more cold and arrogant. Bai Ningbing and Chen Jiang followed behind her. Both of them were just like Liu Ruyan, so sleepy their eyes were almost completely shut. The two of them lazily shouted in unison, reporting, Teacher. Teacher Wang looked at the three of them and said helplessly, Next time, for my class, please come to class 5 minutes early. Don't be late again. Liu Ruyan softly agreed. Chen Jiang also dragged out his words, making mumbling sounds. Teacher Wang knew these students were stubborn and hard to manage. Being able to maintain peace on the surface and not cause trouble was already a blessing. She waved her hand, signaling them. Hurry up and get back to your seat. Don't disrupt the class. Liu Ruyan nodded. After walking to her seat, she didn't even bother to take out her books. She just slumped onto her desk. She buried her head and started to sleep. Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing were the same as her. Seeing a desk was as comforting as seeing a bed. Teacher Wang looked at the slumped heads. Her gaze rested on Liu Ruyan for a moment. She felt a deep sense of regret in her heart. In middle school, Liu Ruyan participated in the national math competition and even won the special prize. She ranked first in the high school entrance exam. She had paid special attention to this female student. When she found out Liu Ruyan had enrolled in Yizhong High School, she had planned to nurture her well. Who would have thought that after starting 10th grade, If she wasn't sleeping in class, she was skipping school altogether. She became the school's overlord, getting criticized by name every day. Her academic performance plummeted disastrously. If she truly didn't know anything, it would be one thing. But every time there was a math test, she would only do the final free response question. The main thing was, she got every single one right. She could even solve such difficult questions correctly. Teacher Wang was certain that if she were willing to do the test, her math score would never be low. She knew that kids these days go through a rebellious phase. She guessed that Liu Ruyan was in that period. She only hoped Liu Ruyan would end her rebellion soon and get back on the right track. Liu Ruyan's appearance was like a drop of water in a hot oil pan, causing a stir throughout Class 7. After math class ended, the class broke into small groups of 3 to 5, whispering and gossiping. The discussions were incredibly lively. Song Ji came to find me, his eyes shining with excitement. I think I am going crazy. Today was the closest I've ever been to the school's big sister. She's so beautiful. His hand grabbed my arm. He unconsciously tightened his grip as he spoke. I'd only seen her from a distance a few times before. I never thought she'd be even more beautiful up close. Oh my god, especially those lazy-looking eyes. I am about to faint from her beauty. I am about to faint from the pain, I said slowly. Xiao Jie, can you pinch me a little more gently? Reminded, Song Jie quickly let go. Seeing a red mark appear on my arm, he chuckled and apologized. Sorry, my bad. I was just too excited. He always pinches people when he gets excited. He's been like that since he was a kid. After growing up, he usually knows how to control it. But today, he really couldn't hold back. I didn't mind. Instead, I comforted him. It's okay. The redness will be gone in a bit. And so, Song Jie continued to discuss Liu Ruyan with me. To say discuss wasn't quite right. More accurately, it was just him, tirelessly praising Liu Ruyan's beauty. He only left reluctantly when the bell rang for class. As soon as he left, Gu Boda let out a soft HM. Such a girl-crazy fool. I frowned. Appreciating beauty is a human instinct. Xiaoji is my friend. Don't talk about him like that. Ui Boda really felt as if I was prejudiced against him, so he couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. He pouted. I didn't say any names. What proof do you have that I was talking about him? It left me unable to argue back. I've never been good at arguing with people. I felt a little wronged. Seeing this, Gui Boda's arrogance grew even more. You're just overthinking it. If you spent this time you waste on nonsense, on your studies instead, your grades definitely wouldn't be this bad. I didn't want to hear any more. I let out a soft, mocking laugh. My personality has always been mild. I always appear calm, neither hot-headed nor cold. Guy Boda was sure I wouldn't dare to talk back to him, but this scoff, full of mockery and contempt, made him more uncomfortable than an argument would have. A fire of anger ignited in his heart. His face hardened, and he pulled out a book, flipping through it aggressively. For the next few classes, the two of us were like we were giving each other the silent treatment. Neither of us said a word to the other. Boys at this age, their relationships are so fragile and sensitive. As for the culprit who caused all this, she was still sleeping soundly on her desk until the final bell rang. As I was packing my school bag, I glanced back. The midday sunlight streamed in from the window. The girl lay with her head turned to the side. Playful beams of light danced on her delicate, high nose. Her face seemed to glow. She was as quiet and beautiful as an ancient goddess. My heart skipped a beat. While I was hesitating about whether to wake Liu Ruyan up, Gu Boda next to me suddenly put on his backpack and stood up. He walked straight towards the back row. Gu Boda stopped right at Liu Ruyan's desk. Seeing the sleeping girl's flawless side profile, the tips of his ears couldn't help but turn slightly red. He cleared his throat softly. He tapped on her desk. He said gently, "Classmate Liu Ruyan, school's out. Don't sleep anymore. Sleeping in the classroom isn't comfortable anyway." Actually, Liu Ruyan was in a half-awake, half-asleep state. Hearing the noise, she frowned slightly, not wanting to pay it any mind. But that voice kept going on and on. "Liu Ruyan, it's time for lunch. Don't sleep anymore. You've slept all morning. How are you still not rested? It's really noisy." Annoyed, Liu Ruyan lifted her head. Her drowsy eyes clearly showed her irritation at being disturbed. She shot him a cold glance. That emotionless gaze made W. Boda suddenly recall what happened yesterday. The forgotten sense of fear instantly resurfaced. He pressed his lips together. "As the class president, I was just kindly reminding you, remember to go eat." After saying that, he didn't dare wait for her reaction. He hurriedly strode away and disappeared. Liu Ruyan was about to explode with anger, but when she looked up, she saw a tall, slender figure. The curses she was about to utter got stuck in her throat. She smirked slightly. Her eyes were glued to me. Then she kicked the two people snoring beside her. Chen Jiang yelled shit and jumped up. "Earthquake! Run! Run! Damn it!" Liu Ruyan scoffed. She cursed without hesitation. "Idiot!" Chen Jiang blinked blankly. When he realized what happened, he laughed too. "Holy crap, you scared the hell out of me. Sister Liu, why did you kick me? Let's go eat." Liu Ruyan patted the still drowsy Bai Ningbing. "Let's go." She was the first one to walk out. The back door of the classroom was open, but she stubbornly walked straight to the front door. As she passed by my seat, she seemed to accidentally bump into my arm. "So sorry, little classmate." She corked her lips into a lazy smile. "I didn't mean to bump into you. Are you hurt anywhere?" "It was just a light touch." "How could I get hurt?" I shook my head. "No, It's nothing. I still have to apologize to you. She asked me what I wanted as compensation. Even though class was over, and most of the students had already left, there were still a few boarding students who didn't want to fight the crowds at the cafeteria and were still in the classroom studying. I awkwardly refused. It's such a small thing. It doesn't need compensation. Really. It's not necessary. I am really fine. That won't do. If you don't accept my compensation, you'll feel guilty about it forever. She raised an eyebrow and asked, do you drink milk tea? Bai Ningbing also sidled over. It was rare to see Liu Ruyan acting so undignified. Bai Ningbing was about to die laughing inside, but her words still defended her best friend. Our sister Liu has never liked being indebted to anyone. If you don't let her compensate you, Shell, keep thinking about it. Would you really let her spend the whole day feeling terribly guilty over such a trivial matter? It's not that serious. Annoyingly, Liu Ruyan nodded vigorously. That's right, she's not wrong at all. So, do you want milk tea or not? Just say yes. Okay. Then, I'll bring it to you this afternoon. After getting an answer from me, Liu Ruyan had no intention of bothering me further. She strode decisively out of the classroom. When Chen Jiang passed by me, he gave me a little wink. Hey, school heartthrob. Bye. Heartthrob. Hi. Goodbye. After the three of them left, Song Jie, who had witnessed the whole thing, ran right up to me, his face clearly written with the word gossip. I gestured with my eyes for him to go outside before we talked. The campus of Yizhang High School was one of the most beautiful in the province. The vibrant flower beds made this summer even more intense. I strolled under the cool green canopy of trees, being shaken so hard by Song Ji that I stumbled. Ah, the school's big sister wants to buy you milk tea. If only I could drink milk tea given by her own hands, I would die a happy man. The corner of my mouth twitched. You don't have to go that far, do you? Ha 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 ha. I was just saying, 1 cup of milk tea isn't enough to trade for my insignificant life. It has to be at least 2 cups. Song Ji loved my pure and slightly naive demeanor the most. Every time he joked with me, I would always answer with utmost seriousness, giving off an adorably slow-witted vibe. But you know, the school's big sister isn't like the rumors at all. I never expected her to be so polite and kind. She's not that fierce. Is she? She even asked if I was hurt. That's right. The milk tea the big sister is bringing you this afternoon. Can I touch it? That way, it's like she treated me to milk tea too. Song Ji clasped his hands and begged me. I could only smile wryly. If I have milk tea to drink, then Zhao Jie must have some too. Let's go. I'll treat you to milk tea. Whoa, Song Ji threw an arm around my shoulder. Oh my god, you're the best. Sobs. Then can I ask for extra pearls? I answered generously. Of course. If you like, you can even add a portion of coconut jelly. Song Ji was extremely moved. I declare from this moment on, our brotherhood is bigger than the sky. The whole big sister thing can take second place for now. After Liu Ruyan finished eating outside the school gate, she led Bai Ningbing and Chen Jiang into a milk tea shop. Chen Jiang had slept the entire morning. Now that he was full, all he wanted to do was go have fun. He asked Liu Ruyan, Sister Liu, should we go to the internet cafe to play games this afternoon? Liu Ruyan lowered her head, focused on choosing a milk tea. She answered nonchalantly, not going. Chen Jiang thought she wasn't interested in games, so he made another suggestion. How about we go play pool? But Liu Ruyan's answer remained the same. Not going. Then how about swimming? I said, not going. He kept making several attractive offers, but all he received were refusals. Chen Jiang suddenly remembered something. Sister Liu, do you have something to do this afternoon? The family backgrounds of Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing were quite well off. They could be considered wealthy families. Bai Ningbing's father even expanded his business to Beijing, so she was a true, rich young lady. The two of them never had to worry about money. But Liu Ruyan was completely different. She could be considered an orphan with no parents. Her relatives, just because she was a girl, and thinking about the future financial burden, no one stepped forward to adopt her. All her daily living expenses were earned by herself. She had no intention of hiding this from them. She usually took on jobs developing software or designing websites. Sometimes she would also help people hack to recover their accounts, or occasionally crack some game versions. In short, she could handle anything related to computers. The amount of money she earned was not small at all. Not working today. After answering, Liu Ruyan turned to the staff and ordered a mango pomelo sago. Then she turned her head again to ask if the other two wanted anything. Bai Ningbing shook her head and refused. I am not having any. Chen Jiang even showed a look of disdain. I would never like these sweet and rich drinks. Chen Jiang stared intently at Liu Ruyan. But then again, come on, Sister Liu. You don't want to work, and you don't want to go out either. So what exactly are you planning to do this afternoon? Deliver milk tea. To apologize to someone. Does delivering 1 cup of milk tea take a whole afternoon? So what are you doing after delivering the milk tea? Deep down, Chen Jiang was still determined to get her to hang out. Yesterday, he accidentally read a game guide online. So today, he was eager to go to the internet cafe to show off his skills and conquer the world. Liu Ruyan placed one hand on her thigh, tapping it leisurely. Let me ask you two a question. Who are we? Really? We're human. What else? Could we be something else? Chen Jiang blurted out immediately. Bai Ningbing let out a soft scoff. The two of us are indeed human. But you look just like a silly puppy. Shit. Chen Jiang bared his teeth and glared at his friend. Me? A silly puppy? Then the first person I bite will be you. Just then, the staff brought out the finished drink. The mango pomelo sago was placed neatly on the counter. Liu Ruyan picked up the drink, stood up, and told the other two, go back to class and study. We're students now. A student's main duty is to study hard and keep improving. Right? Do you two understand what I am saying? Hearing those righteous words about studying hard come from Liu Ruyan's mouth made Chen Jiang shudder in horror. That shuddering feeling lasted until he witnessed the scene of Liu Ruyan personally placing the milk tea on my desk. Only then did everything become clear. All his confusion vanished in an instant. He leaned close to Bai Ningbing's ear and whispered, what's all this about students studying hard and improving? All that empty talk. I think Sister Liu has clearly fallen for our school. Heartthrob at first sight. Bai Ningbing mocked her friend without holding back. I told you you were a silly puppy, but you wouldn't believe me. Now you finally realize who you are. Huh. Actually, she had realized it last night. After all, the intelligence of humans and canines are not on the same level. Having his guess confirmed, Chen Jiang clicked his tongue. At this moment, his mind suddenly became crystal clear. No wonder she pushed him into her bedroom the moment she saw him yesterday. So that's why she woke us all up at the crack of dawn today and insisted on coming to school. But since when did our sister Liu have this intention? Could it really be love at first sight? You should be a little less curious about Sister Liu's business. Bai Ningbing reached into her desk and took out her handheld game console. She put on her headphones and started playing intently. Chen Jiang huffed under his breath. The more he was forbidden from asking, the more curious he became. So, he tiptoed closer to Liu Ruyan and said with a sly smile, Sister Liu, can you secretly tell me a little something? You decided to stay in school because of our school heartthrob, right? You've got too much time on your hands. Liu Ruyan replied with a slight raise of her eyebrow. I am just trying to show some concern for your love life. From what you know, it seems you just got a new job offer, and the client needs it done urgently, too. Yet you were willing to give up such a lucrative job to come running to school like this. TSK. The charm of our school heartthrob is really no joke. Liu Ruyan let out a light scoff. Then she beckoned Chen Jiang to come closer. Come here. Come here. Chen Jiang thought she had something to confide in him, so he quickly moved his head closer to her. Liu Ruyan immediately flicked his forehead hard. Oh my god. Chen Jiang let out a painful shriek. He clutched his head, moaning pitifully in pain. You're trying to silence me by murder. This action of yours is clearly an attempt to silence me. Don't you dare go around spreading these words. If a single word of this gets out, don't blame me for being cruel to you. Her eyes looked nonchalant, but they held a sharp, cold warning. Chen Jiang knew very well what she was afraid of. Liu Ruyan was the type to fear no one, and she never cared what others thought of her. However, the school heartthrob had a very calm personality. Moreover, he was very shy and thin-skinned. If any bad rumors were to spread about the two of them, he would surely be scared into a panic. And most importantly, Liu Ruyan truly cared deeply about my feelings, and she cared even more about how others would see me. Therefore, even when she wanted to talk to me, she would carefully choose times when no one was around to approach. After understanding all of Liu Ruyan's hidden thoughts, how could Chen Jiang still have the courage to spread nonsense outside? He hastily shook his head like a bobblehead. Spread what? I am just a silly puppy. Sister, I swear, I don't know anything at all. Seeing this, Bai Ningbing laughed in amusement and held up one finger in front of him, asking, look, what number is this? Haha, I don't know what number it is. Chen Jiang replied wittily, shaking his head. Because I am definitely a silly puppy. His antics made Liu Ruyan laugh out loud. Then she muttered a playful curse under her breath. After that, she slumped back onto her desk to continue sleeping. You're still sleeping, Sister Liu. If you keep sleeping like this, what am I supposed to do all afternoon? Chen Jiang was bored out of his mind. Liu Ruyan didn't even bother to acknowledge his question. In fact, she had just received a rather large job offer not long ago. The client was urging her to finish it for them urgently. According to her original plan, she was going to spend this entire half-month at home focusing on work, and she would only return to school after the work was done. However, someone had once said that he really hoped to see her at this school. She understood clearly that, for someone like her, with no one to rely on, the only and most important goal right now was to work hard to survive. Everything else in this world was ultimately secondary. But whenever my sad and disappointed face appeared in her mind, her chest would suddenly feel unbearably tight and restless. That's why last night she stayed up all night trying to finish her pending work. And somehow, she accidentally stayed awake until the early morning. After 2 consecutive nights without a single wink of sleep, her head now felt heavy and muddled, as if stuffed with glue. She really needed to get some sleep now to make up for the lost hours. Because tonight, she still had to stay up late to finish the rest of her pending work. This afternoon, I came to school a little earlier than usual, and just as expected, as soon as I sat down, I saw a mango pomelo sago already on my desk. I glanced towards the back rows of the classroom. There, Bai Ningbing and Chen Jiang were, each, holding a game console, completely engrossed in that virtual world. As for Liu Ruyan, she was, as usual, slumped over her desk, still sleeping. I don't know if it was because my gaze towards her was too intense and earnest, but Bai Ningbing suddenly looked up at me, and just like that, our eyes accidentally met. I suddenly felt a bit stunned and flustered for a moment. Then, I immediately turned my head away to avoid her gaze. By reflex, I quickly tucked the milk tea deep into my desk drawer. Seeing my action, Bai Ningbing couldn't help but find it extremely amusing. Clearly, there were hardly any people in the classroom at this time, and the truth was, no one was paying any attention to my milk tea, yet my expression looked just like a thief, afraid of being caught red-handed. It seems Liu Ruyan's worries were not unfounded at all. He really is too tense. Bai Ningbing smirked with a mischievous smile. Then she averted her gaze and returned to her unfinished game. The classroom became completely silent, only the sound of the ceiling fan above slowly turning. The summer breeze seemed to be tinged with the characteristic sweltering heat. After a long while, I seemed to snap out of it and realize something. Hey, wait a minute. Why did I have to secretly hide this milk tea? The milk tea Liu Ruyan bought for me didn't have any ice in it. When I placed my hand on the cup, I could still feel a slight warmth radiating from it. I gently took the milk tea out of the drawer and placed it neatly on my desk. I carefully opened the lid and took a few sips. It wasn't too sweet. Just right, although its flavor couldn't compare to the premium drinks of the future. But for that time, it could be considered an absolutely wonderful drink. It was just a simple mango pomelo, sago, but the feeling and thought contained within it were so full and precious. When Guy Boda came and saw it, he just thought I had bought it for myself, so he didn't pay much attention. After he sat down, he deliberately turned to look at Liu Ruyan in the back row. Although she was still sleeping, she really hadn't skipped class. Thinking of this, the corners of his eyes couldn't help but curve up. Even though Liu Ruyan had intimidated him like that yesterday, in the end, she still took his words to heart. She came to school. This was a good sign. If she was willing to listen to him, it meant she wasn't a completely hopeless case. Gui Boda secretly made up his mind that he had to guide her back to the right path. Having this goal, Go Boda was in high spirits all afternoon. He was even more active in answering questions in class. I was a bit puzzled, not understanding why he had suddenly become so energetic. But thinking about how I had been reborn, changing the course of everything, creating a butterfly effect, it was normal for other things to change as well. Liu Ruyan slept through the whole afternoon again. Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing next to her neither slept nor caused trouble. They just quietly did their own thing, never disturbing the class order. This semester's schedule had the last period as self-study. The 11th grade curriculum was getting more intense. Just one day after school started, teachers from every subject assigned homework. The cumulative amount of homework was quite substantial. I decided to use the last self-study period to get a head start on my work, only taking home what I couldn't finish. Gu Boda sat on the podium to maintain discipline. With him standing guard, the classroom was very quiet until the inspection team from the student council arrived. The girl in the lead was over 1.7 meters tall, with a delicate and gentle appearance. She had long, narrow phoenix eyes, and a pair of rectangular, frameless glasses rested on the bridge of her nose. The lenses were light gray, making her look somewhat scholarly yet distant. She was Ning Qingyue, the student council president, and also a famous top student. However, every time, she would fall behind Gui Boda by just a few points, earning her the joking nickname of the eternal runner-up. She stood at the classroom door, sweeping her gaze across the entire room. Then she lowered her head and jotted something down in her notebook before leading a group of people away. Seeing this from the podium, Gui Boda immediately tiptoed out after them. "Classmate Ning," he called out in a low voice, then quickened his pace to catch up with them. "I saw you writing something just now. Did our class get points deducted?" Ning Qingyu nodded. Someone wasn't wearing the uniform. There are still many classes behind waiting for inspection. She only said that one sentence, and nothing more, preparing to walk away. Gu Boda was quick-witted and grabbed the hem of her shirt. He said with a smile, "Classmate Ning, let it slide this time. Remind them when I get back. How about that?" Ning Qingyu frowned. Her voice was gentle but impossible to refuse. "Let go." Gui Boda giggled and tightened his grip a little. "Come on. Please, classmate Ning, can you cut me some slack? Just do me this one favor, and go easy on us. Please, okay?" Ning Qingyue let out a cold snort. "Have you ever heard the saying?" Gui Boda thought she was wavering, and the smile on his face widened. "What saying?" Ning Qingyue emotionlessly pushed up her glasses. "When a beautiful person acts cute, it's called being charming. But when someone as ugly as you does it, it's called being obnoxious." Her beautiful phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. "Let go. Stop harassing your classmate." Gu Boda was about to go crazy with anger. That damn Ning Qingyue, and to think their parents knew each other. How could she, in front of so many people, call him ugly and even say he was harassing her? She was so hateful. He was definitely going to tell on her to her parents. Gu Boda angrily returned to the classroom, just in time to see me pick up the milk tea cup, place it under the desk, and sneak a sip. He warned in a cold voice, "No drinking milk tea during class. Otherwise, your conduct points will be deducted." My movement paused. I slowly looked up. Gui Boda didn't even look at me, but just lowered his head and continued with his homework. I gently swallowed the mouthful of milk tea, then calmly continued with my homework. I had finished my math homework. Only chemistry and English were left. English was my strong suit, so I finished it before class ended. I started packing my things, planning to take the unfinished chemistry homework home. Yizhong High School didn't require students to attend evening self-study. Usually, boarding students would have 2 evening self-study sessions, while day students who didn't participate could go home after the afternoon classes ended. Knowing that my math wasn't very good, even though I had finished the homework, I still put the textbook in my bag, planning to review what I learned today, and also prepare for tomorrow's lesson. At this moment, Boda carried his chair back to his seat. He put his books on the desk, didn't bother to pack up, and walked lightly towards the back row of seats. Class had just ended, and many students hadn't left yet. Everyone's eyes unconsciously followed him. When they saw him stop in front of Liu Ruyan, the students who were about to leave also paused. One by one, they craned their necks curiously to watch the drama. That's the school's big sister. What does the class president want with the big sister? Boda could feel the stares coming at him from all directions. He knew everyone was watching him. A strong sense of vanity rose up, making him involuntarily straighten his back. Well, Mr. Class President. When Chen Jiang noticed the noisy classroom suddenly go silent, he looked up doubtfully and saw Boda. He asked, while still playing his game, "What brings you to our neck of the woods? What's up?" Boda glanced at him. "You should play fewer games. If I don't play games, what am I supposed to do? Are you telling me to study?" Chen Jiang spoke with bravado. "If I start studying, the last place seat in class will have to be given to someone else." They wouldn't agree to that. Boda was speechless and rolled his eyes, not bothering to pay attention to his nonsense, and shifted his gaze to the girl sitting by the window. He cleared his throat softly. "Liu Ruyan." Chen Jiang's eyes widened. "Class president, don't call her. Sister Liu hates being called out when she's sleeping. Be careful or she'll throw a fit at you." Boda pretended not to care, but deliberately raised his voice a little. "I called her this morning, too. She wasn't cranky at all." "Huh? You dared to call her this morning?" Chen Jiang couldn't believe it. She really didn't get mad? This reaction made Boda feel very smug. "That's right," he replied, drawing out the last syllable, revealing a fleeting sense of self-satisfaction. Bai Ningbing lazily raised her eyelids. She thought to herself, "That's only because he ran away fast. Let's see what would have happened if he was 2 seconds slower." Chen Jiang was utterly astonished. Since when did Sister Liu become so good-tempered? Boda suddenly felt a bit superior. When he spoke, his tone carried a hint of gentleness. "Oh, Liu Ruyan, don't sleep anymore." Chen Jiang looked like he'd seen a ghost. He didn't even feel like playing his game anymore. He shivered and rubbed his arms. "Mr. Class President, can you please speak normally? Suddenly speaking in that tone sounds so weird. You're scaring me." In those years, Taiwanese idol dramas were extremely popular in the mainland. That whiny, cutesy tone spread everywhere. Even someone like Chen Jiang, who never watched dramas, could casually blurt out a few lines. Boda's face turned beet red. "What did Chen Jiang do to me? Why are you being so mean to me?" Chen Jiang continued his nonsense, making small fists with his hands and rubbing his eyes. "You're so biased." The students still in the classroom who witnessed this scene couldn't help but burst out laughing. The gossipy female students didn't mind making a bigger deal out of it, and one by one, they began to mimic Chen Jiang's gestures. The scene became both chaotic and noisy. Boda glared angrily at Chen Jiang, while Chen Jiang just winked at him. Just then, the girl who was lying on the desk began to slowly move. Her arms were still on the desk, and her head was still down. Her slender, delicate shoulder blades moved first. The sports jacket clearly outlined her spine. Then she lazily turned her neck a little, before lifting her face, an extremely cold face, but so beautiful it was startling. The classroom, which had been bustling with noise just a second ago, suddenly went silent as if someone had hit the mute button. Everything abruptly became quiet. Chen Jiang was very quick-witted. "Sister Liu, you're awake? Our Mr. Class President is looking for you." "Idiot." Liu Ruyan cursed irritably. Her voice, just after waking up, carried a slightly hoarse and languid quality, but it was still extremely pleasant to the ear. Boda felt ecstatic hearing it. He spoke with a bit of concern. "Liu Ruyan, are you awake?" She didn't answer him, but instead took a bottle of mineral water from her desk drawer and just drank it. Boda's expression faltered slightly. He hesitated for a moment, then continued. "During the last self-study period today, when the student council came to inspect, because the 3 of you weren't wearing uniforms, our class got points deducted. Why weren't you wearing your uniform?" Liu Ruyan finished the entire bottle of water in one go, then threw it with a flick of her wrist. The empty bottle, under the watch of many eyes, drew a perfect parabola and landed precisely in the trash can. "Let's go." She lazily stood up and walked out. Chen Jiang and Bai Ningbing immediately followed behind. Boda didn't get a satisfactory answer, but then again, her personality had always been like that. She always appeared cold on the outside, but she actually always took his words to heart. The fact that she came to school today was proof. So he looked at her retreating back and added earnestly, "Oh, Liu Ruyan, since you're willing to come to school now, you should also follow the school rules. Remember to wear your uniform when you come to school tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll really get angry." Liu Ruyan found his constant nagging incredibly annoying, absolutely hateful. "Stop meddling in my business." Boda took a deep breath and said, "I am the class president. If I don't manage you, who will?" Liu Ruyan walked straight out of the classroom just like that. Boda pursed his lips and returned to his seat, hastily packed a few books into his bag, and quickly left as well. The good show was over. Everyone had different expressions on their faces. They exchanged glances and gradually dispersed to go home. This would surely be enough for them to gossip about all night. Songji and I were lucky enough to witness the entire event. The two of us went to the bike shed to get our bikes together. Songji was getting antsy. He didn't care that he was still on school grounds, and constricted his voice to vividly imitate Gui Boda's mannerisms. Come to school tomorrow. Okay? You absolutely have to wear your uniform. Okay? Or it'll really get angry you hear. I am the class president, you know. If I don't manage you, who else would bother? He wheeled his bicycle out and pedaled to catch up with me. I bet you. The class president definitely likes the big sister. Teenagers at this age, their feelings are like poetry. Some keep them carefully hidden in their hearts, some flaunt them for the world to see, and some say one thing but mean another. I just hummed softly. That's his own business. I know. It's just that his attitude really annoys me. He's always criticizing Liu Ruyan for being useless, yet he keeps trying to get close to her. It's hilarious when you think about it. He just loves being pretentious like that. Song Ji snorted contemptuously. If you like someone, just admit it. Why do you have to put them down like that? Is liking Liu Ruyan something to be ashamed of? I spoke up. It's not. Exactly. Just admit it openly. And honestly, I might even respect him as a real man then. Song Jie said this, then suddenly chuckled. But the way the big sister treated him today, it was just so satisfying. Ha ha ha. Stop meddling in your classmates' business, okay? She looked so cool. I absolutely love that vibe. It's that arrogant and domineering style. It really is very cool. The teenage Liu Ruyan was indeed incredibly captivating. After leaving the school gate, because our houses were in opposite directions, we had to say goodbye. I was riding alone for a while, when I saw a figure not far ahead, and my eyes lit up. I pedaled faster to catch up. Hey, Wang Qian. I caught up with her, and we rode side by side. Wang Qian felt quite surprised. Seeing my chest still heaving slightly as I caught my breath, she instinctively slowed down her bike a little. Is something wrong? Xiao Fan. I smiled slightly. I wanted to ask, the math reference book you showed me this morning, where can I buy it? During recess today, I saw on Wang Qian's desk a detailed math problem-solving textbook, so I borrowed it for a quick look. I found that the concepts in it were explained very meticulously, and the examples were very representative. It was truly a very useful resource for me. My math was already a bit weak, so I needed to put in even more effort. I plan to go find and buy a similar book this weekend. Wang Qian told me, this book is really good. My neighbor is a high school math teacher, and he was the one who recommended this book to me. You really can't find it in regular bookstores. I had to go all the way to the Xinhua bookstore to find it. All right, I got it. Wang Qian looked at my face, thought for a moment, and then asked another question. Do you know where the Xinhua bookstore is? If you don't, then whenever you plan to go buy it, just call me to go with you. I'll take you there. I answered honestly. I know where it is. Thanks a lot. The two of them said nothing more, just quietly riding their bikes next to each other. Not far behind, Liu Ruyan was also riding a bicycle, leisurely following behind me. Today she wasn't riding her large displacement motorcycle. She still had 2 more months before she turned of age. She only dared to ride the motorcycle at night when there were no traffic police. If she rode it during the day, she'd be caught immediately. Oh ho! Chen Jiang suddenly let out a cry of surprise. Isn't that our school's heartthrob? Who's that girl next to him? Is she from our class? Today, when he came to school, he either slept or buried his face in his game. As for what his classmates looked like, he didn't bother to care. And Bai Ningbing wasn't much better. She just squinted for a while, finding her familiar but unable to remember her name. Whoever she is, why do I feel so annoyed seeing her next to the heartthrob? It just gets on my nerves. Chen Jiang gritted his teeth in annoyance. Just then, the two people in front said something, and suddenly burst into happy laughter together. He blurted out a curse. What an eyesore. Could they be dating? Probably not. Bai Ningbing intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Liu Ruyan. The heartthrob seems very obedient and gentle. He probably wouldn't start dating so early. Why not? Look. They're even wearing matching outfits, Chen Jiang asserted with absolute certainty. Bai Ningbing was so annoyed, she laughed. Hey, Chen Jiang, you should really get your head checked. What do you mean matching outfits? That's our school uniform, you idiot. Chen Jiang paused for a moment, also feeling that what he had just said was rather stupid, so he couldn't help but chuckle. It really is the school uniform. No wonder I felt like something was a bit off. Bai Ningbing looked utterly disgusted. Don't say you know me when you're out. Chen Jiang just continued to laugh cheerfully, seeing Liu Ruyan's gaze as if it was about to be fixed firmly on Chen Fan. He decisively said, Sister Liu, just leave it to me. I'll ride my bike straight between them right now. To split those lovebirds up, you guys should just go home. Liu Ruyan spoke up to stop him. What about you, Sister Liu? Chen Jiang asked knowingly. Liu Ruyan didn't bother to answer. The one who spoke up was Bai Ningbing. What else could she be doing? Going to wag her tail at him. Of course. The two of them looked at each other and shared a meaningful smile, watching Liu Ruyan's figure as she started to pedal faster, gliding right up behind the other two. Someone suddenly loomed close. Wang Qian caught a glimpse from the corner of her eye, and when she turned her head, she realized it was Liu Ruyan. She forced a smile and greeted her. Hi, sister. Liu Ruyan just lazily raised her eyelids a little. You live this way too? Wang Qihan replied with a surprised yes, although she found the question a bit strange and confusing. But she always adhered to the principle of being united and friendly with classmates, so she still answered politely, yes. So how much longer until you get home? Liu Ruyan asked again. I can't believe she's concerned about me. The corner of Wang Qihan's mouth twitched in confusion. Just at the intersection up ahead. All right. After she said that, she suddenly accelerated and sped past them, overtaking them just like that. I watched the carefree figure of the young girl, and my eyes suddenly filled with a warm smile. Wang Qihan muttered softly beside me, Sister Liu, why? Why did she suddenly ask me those things? The corners of my lips lifted into a slight smile. Maybe she's just concerned about you. Wang Qihan was so scared she trembled all over, and quickly racked her brain to review all the events of the day. Then she said hesitantly, uncertainly, I didn't do anything to offend her, did I? I really can't remember where I might have offended her. To suddenly be cared for by the big sister like this is truly a terrifying and goosebump-inducing thing. Do you understand? Could it be when Teacher Wang told me to close the classroom door earlier? I saw her but forgot to say hello? Wang Qihan was still racking her brain, trying to figure out what mistake she had made. The more she thought about it, the more she felt it was very likely to have happened, making her feel extremely regretful. Oh my god, why didn't I know to greet her then? I hesitated for a moment, then spoke slowly. I don't think Liu Ruyan is actually that scary. She probably just wanted to ask you something. No way. There's absolutely no way that's it. Wang Qihan shook her head repeatedly. I must have offended Sister Liu somehow. Wang Qihan was worried and scared. For the rest of the way, she was completely out of it. At the three-way intersection, I waved goodbye to her, but she didn't seem to hear anything. The reputation of the Thorn Princess in the school circle was indeed not just a rumor. Just look at this incredible, intimidating power. As I was thinking, I pedaled my bike around a bend, and then I saw the person I was just thinking about. The Thorn Princess was sitting casually on her bike, her right foot propped on the ground. Her deep, dark eyes were fixed on me. The corner of my lips involuntarily curved up, but I pretended to be calm and continued pedaling. As I passed by Liu Ruyan, I didn't stop either. The young girl let out a soft laugh. The laughter melted into the evening breeze, making my ears turn red. She leisurely pedaled behind me, then gradually rode alongside me. The willow trees by Yaming Lake were like a young girl's hand, gently swaying. The water's surface rippled gently. The sunset dyed the lake's surface with brilliant golden scales. The evening breeze blew softly. The entire lake rustled with the sound of water. Liu Ruyan was waiting for me to speak first. Unexpectedly, she said nothing. I could also remain completely silent. She couldn't help but turn to look at me and called my name. Chen Fan. I tilted my head to look back. I thought you were going to stay silent forever. Her speaking pace was slow, like a piece of poison-coated candy. Even knowing the result would be death, he would still smile and swallow it. Liu Ruyan's light-colored eyes narrowed. What did you say to her? Who? I played dumb. She shot me a sideways glance. That girl from earlier. I don't know her name. What did you two talk about? I was speechless. The hint of petulance in her voice made it even more alluring. Her name is Wang Qihan. You don't even know her name. So why did you scare her? When did I scare her? Liu Ruyan feigned innocence. I told Liu Ruyan about how Wang Qihan kept rambling on in fear. She was scared to death, thinking she had offended you. So what did you two talk about? She doesn't want to get involved with anyone else, especially not girls. It's not like she's interested in that girl. I looked at her helplessly. We've barely said a few sentences, and she's already asked this question 3 times. The girl's eyes were full of determination, looking like she wouldn't give up until she got an answer. I told her about my plan to go to Xinhua bookstore this weekend. Finally got some useful information. Liu Ruyan raised an eyebrow slightly. I didn't forget that. This was also to help Liu Ruyan study properly. In my heart, I felt a slight stir. I took the chance to ask her, so, will you go with me that day? Are you asking me out? She raised her eyebrows playfully and said in a nonchalant tone, well, see. Liu Ruyan's house and mine weren't in the same direction. She, just like yesterday, took me to the next street before cycling away. The sky, at past 7 p.m. wasn't completely dark yet. She rode a few steps and then stopped, turning her head to look at me. At that very moment, I seemed to sense something, and suddenly turned my head back. Our eyes met. Liu Ruyan's face suddenly flushed. Even though we were quite far apart, it seemed she could still hear the young man's laughter in her ears. She pursed her lips. This time, she didn't look back again, and pedaled away quickly. Ever since her mother passed away, Liu Ruyan rarely cooked for herself. Only when there's someone you want to take care of does cooking become romantic. She was all alone. Cooking was just for survival. Buying food outside was the same. It was just to fill her stomach. After finishing her meal downstairs, she prepared to go back to work. In the year 2009, Apple phones officially entered the domestic market. The iPhone 3GS was released in June. Some sharp domestic manufacturers had already sniffed out the opportunity and secretly started developing smartphones and had achieved some initial results. Domestic people have always been the best in the world at imitation. Moreover, they could continuously improve during the process, creating better products. Liu Ruyan had a feeling that the smartphone boom would be an inevitable trend of the future. So right after the first generation of smartphones was born, she started learning mobile app programming and has achieved some success so far. After all, this wasn't difficult for her. During the years of the explosive growth of the internet, network management was still not strict. Online gambling and pornography were rampant. The smartphone field was an even more empty land, a completely untouched territory. There's a saying, first come, first served. It was in its golden age. Now, any app could make money, especially the not-so-proper ones. Last time, she helped a boss make a gray area app. This job was also introduced by that boss. His friend was planning to make a mobile gambling app. The price offered was extremely high, and the requirements were also strict. The deadline was very tight. The other party had already paid the deposit. They had been urging her for progress these past few days. She had to hurry up. Liu Ruyan parked her bike downstairs, mentally calculating tonight's work. She thought absent-mindedly as she went upstairs. The house she lived in was bought many years ago. Back then, housing prices weren't as expensive as they are now. Her father hadn't lost his job yet, and hadn't gotten into gambling either. Thinking back now, she was startled to realize that the time her father wasn't gambling was already 11 years ago. So much time had passed that she felt her memories had faded. The house was quite old. The sound-activated lights in the hallway were sometimes very slow to react. You had to shout your lungs out for them to turn on. That cold, firefly-like light made everyone look like a ghost. Liu Ruyan wasn't afraid of the dark. She was also too lazy to make a sound, so she just walked silently. Her apartment was on the 4th floor. After walking for a while, out of habit, she looked up, and suddenly saw an anxious face right in front of her. The man was looking down. When he saw her coming, he looked up and gave a bright smile. He had put a lot of effort into grooming himself, and came to her house to wait for a whole afternoon. Chen Yu was suddenly mistaken for a male ghost. His expression turned a little ugly. He let out a soft cough. The hallway light above slowly turned on. He smiled, and said with a slightly reproachful tone, "What male ghost?" "Ruyan, it's me. Is something wrong with you? Squatting in front of my door pretending to be a ghost?" Liu Ruyan snapped irritably. She was already annoyed about having to work, and then he had to go and scare her, making her forget the idea that had just popped into her head. Chen Yu quickly explained, "I didn't mean to scare you." "Didn't I say I'd come find you to hang out today? But when I came this afternoon, I found that you weren't home. Where did you go?" "To school." Of course. Chen Yu was stunned. It wasn't that he looked down on her, but speaking honestly, for someone like her to go to school, she probably wouldn't understand anything, right? He took a few steps closer, looking down from above. Liu Ruyan was standing 3 steps below him. "What's so fun about school? Let's go to the bar later. A sworn sister of mine is opening a bar and invited me over. Come with me. Please. I am not free." "Then let's go tomorrow. Her bar is having a big promotion these days," she said. "If I go over, all the drinks will be free, and she'll give us 2 large fruit platters too." "I am not free tomorrow either. So when will you be free?" Liu Ruyan fell silent. Her tongue flicked lightly over her teeth. She had never found these boys so annoying before. The image of that well-behaved boy suddenly appeared in her mind. He made her calmer, made her yearn for stability. Liu Ruyan didn't want to continue this game anymore. She licked her lips and said coldly, "I am never free." Chen Yu also realized the hidden meaning in her words. His voice suddenly turned harsh. "What do you mean?" Liu Ruyan looked up. The light from the old, dirty incandescent bulb shone deep into her eyes. Her gaze flickered between light and dark, hazy and clear. "I don't mean anything. Lin Yan, let's break up." Chen Yu's expression immediately became darker than the night. He said through gritted teeth, "Liu Ruyan, you're such a bitch." Lin Yan was the name of her ex-boyfriend. A hint of awkwardness flashed in Liu Ruyan's eyes. She tilted her head slightly, thought for a moment, then spoke again. "Wang Hao, let's break up." Chen Yu couldn't take it anymore. He was so angry his whole body trembled. "Damn it. I am not Wang Hao either." Wang Hao was also the name of another ex-boyfriend. "Then what's your name?" Liu Ruyan wondered. She paused for a moment, then continued nonchalantly. "Never mind. Whatever your name is, we're breaking up anyway." Chen Yu was stunned into silence. For the first time in his life, his mind was completely blank. Even his emotions became numb. He thought he was bad enough. But after meeting Liu Ruyan, he realized his badness was nothing compared to hers. He had been dating her for almost a week, yet she couldn't even remember his name. "You bastard. How can you be so cruel?" Chen Yu roared angrily. "Why? Even if you want to break up, I still need a proper reason." Liu Ruyan retorted. "So what kind of reason can you accept?" Chen Yu was choked up and couldn't speak. "So you're too lazy to even think of a reason to break up? You knew and you still asked." Liu Ruyan gave a faint smile. She walked up the stairs, step by step. As she passed him, Chen Yu suddenly asked, "Is it because of that kid? The one you pushed into the bedroom yesterday? Is it because of him?" Seeing her steps falter slightly, he knew he had guessed right. He continued to press her relentlessly. "You two have known each other for a long time, right? What happened yesterday after I left? I knew it. I knew it. I could tell from his face he's a pretty boy. Daring to steal my girlfriend? I won't let him get away with it." After making his threat, he stomped angrily down the stairs. "Hey!" Liu Ruyan called out to him from behind. Her voice lowered. "Don't you dare go looking for him. I dare you to touch him." Chen Yu had always known that. Liu Ruyan was not like other girls her age. On her, there was a faint aura of extreme ruthlessness. But normally she looked very relaxed. That created a very special aura that was very attractive to others. So even knowing she was very cruel, the number of boyfriends she had was like mushrooms after the rain. There were still many who willingly became toys in her hands. What if? What if I could tame this she-panther? He always wished that panther would turn back for him, but at the same time, he was prepared to be mercilessly dumped by her and was ready to be played by her. But that panther was absolutely not allowed to love someone else, not allowed to change for another man. Why is it that what he couldn't have, someone else could get so easily? Chen Yu's jealousy, upon seeing Liu Ruyan protect Chen Fan like that, reached its peak. He saw her serious expression, her anxious tone. A feeling of painful and jealous pleasure suddenly rose in his heart. So what if I touch him? We've already broken up. Ruyan, why should I listen to you? I want to see what kind of backing he has to dare to confront me. The two stood a few steps apart. He was below. She was above, looking down on him arrogantly. The staircase light suddenly went out, due to the terrifying silence between them. Liu Ruyan's laughter rang out first, followed by her nonchalant and slightly sarcastic words. If you dare touch him, I will make you regret being born into this world. The girl's voice was clearly very pleasant, but to him right now, it felt like a cold snake was coiling around his neck, incredibly cold and suffocating. Are you threatening me? He couldn't help but shudder. Her voice seemed to become even gentler. I've said it. If you don't believe me, just try. Click. After speaking, she opened the door and stepped inside. The door quickly closed, leaving Chen Yu alone in the stairwell. Honestly, he was somewhat afraid of Liu Ruyan. She was always alone, always looking nonchalant and careless. But when she fought, she was extremely ruthless, always carrying an air of recklessness, a madness that disregarded consequences. Even the gangsters he hung out with were all afraid whenever they heard Liu Ruyan's name, thinking of her threat and her worry and protection for that kid. Chen Yu was both jealous and angry. He felt extremely heartbroken. He had to go find his sworn sister to complain. Half an hour later, Chen Yu was at Tonight Bar. It was indeed the grand opening promotion period. The bar had done a good job with publicity beforehand, so the opening day was packed with people, extremely lively. The security guards at the door saw Chen Yu, knew he was one of Sister Zhuo's people, so they specially had someone lead him inside. Chen Yu was taken to a VIP table. The people around saw him and greeted him enthusiastically. Little brother Chen Yu is here to find Sister Zhuo? Oh my, why are your eyes so red? Who dared to bully our little brother? Chen Yu had cried all the way here. The more he thought about Liu Ruyan, the more heartbroken he became. She was the girl he liked the most, among all his ex-girlfriends, and the one he put the most effort and initiative into. Yet this was the result he got. He couldn't accept it. Where's my sister? As soon as he spoke, his voice choked up as if he was about to cry. It's the grand opening today. She must be very busy. Right? Sigh. I heard Sister Zhuo went to pick up brother-in-law. Brother-in-law? Chen Yu was stunned. This rich, second-generation girl named Zuo Xiao is the daughter of the city's richest man. Lately, she seemed to be quite interested in him, but he heard rumors that she played around in a rather kinky way, so he kept hesitating, only daring to accept her as a sworn sister. Unexpectedly, just like that, she already had a new boyfriend. The people sitting around here were all Zuo Xiao's trusted followers. How could they not see through Chen Yu's petty calculations? Seeing his stunned and disappointed expression, someone deliberately spoke up. That's right, our new brother-in-law, let me tell you. This time, brother-in-law is so handsome that Zuo Xiao slapped him from behind, then said with a cold laugh, you dare to gossip about your brother-in-law? Whoa, Sister Zhuo. Hello? Brother-in-law. Zuo Xiao's appearance caused everyone at the VIP table to stand up respectfully and greet her. Chen Yu sniffled and stood up as well, looking at Zuo Xiao. Sister. Zuo Xiao hummed in acknowledgement, then pulled the man next to her into her arms. This is your brother-in-law. Go say hello. Chen Yu observed the man. He had an elegant temperament, a handsome and intellectual face. Zuo Qiao's taste really changes on a whim. She likes all sorts of types. Hello, brother-in-law. He greeted him nonchalantly. Zuo Qiao smirked. All right then, everyone sit down. Since you're here, just have fun. She was indeed a little interested in Chen Yu, but Chen Yu kept being ambiguous. She wasn't a fool either. When playing with men, she only liked it to be consensual. If the other party wasn't interested, then with her status, of course she wouldn't resort to forcing someone, and she would never be faithful to him. But for those she hadn't gotten yet, there was no need to cut ties. She sat down next to Chen Yu. On her other side was her new boyfriend. Everyone was busy playing dice and drinking. When the new boyfriend went to the restroom, she turned to ask Chen Yu, what do you think? Your brother-in-law looks very scholarly, right? So you're into the scholarly type lately? Chen Yu's eyes darted back and forth. He started to get an idea. He was originally worried about Liu Ruyan's warning. He really didn't dare touch the person she was protecting on his own. But Zuo Qiao was different. She had both status and money. Even if she touched that kid, Liu Ruyan couldn't do anything to her. Zuo Qiao hummed in agreement. He looks just like a little puppy. Very cute and obedient. Chen Yu eagerly continued. Brother-in-law does look very scholarly, but I've seen someone who is much more handsome and elegant. That's what you call real innocence. The important thing is that within that innocence, there's a hint of wildness. In short, he's extremely captivating, incredibly handsome. Is that so? There's someone like that in H City? Zuo Xiao leaned closer to him. Even more handsome than you? Actually, Chen Yu was already very good looking. So even though he was just an uneducated hooligan, a young lady like Zuo Xiao was willing to play with him. Of course, he's 10 times more handsome than me, Chen Yu deliberately emphasized. Zuo Xiao showed her disbelief. Right now, her mind was completely on her new boyfriend, so she just replied perfunctorily, "All right, someday, when I break up with your brother-in-law, if there's a chance, bring him over for me to see." Chen Jiang had been going to school for over 10 years. He swore that today was definitely the earliest he had ever come to school. Last night, he and Bai Ningbing pulled an all-nighter at the internet cafe. The game guides they found online were really amazing. He went from being a newbie who got beaten up by others, becoming a big shot who specializes in kicking others' butts. He was fired up the entire night, dominating the virtual world. It goes without saying how awesome it felt. According to his usual routine, after leaving the internet cafe, he'd usually go straight home to catch up on sleep. But even though he was sleepy, his gossipy soul was still burning with curiosity, because he was incredibly curious about what happened yesterday. What would happen next between Liu Ruyan and me? He and Bai Ningbing unanimously decided to change their sleeping spot from home to the school. At 6 inches the morning, the two of them, each with a sleepy look on their face, sluggishly walked to the classroom. The classroom was still locked. The two of them climbed in through the window. Just as they were about to slump onto their desks, there was another noise by the window. Chen Jiang doubtfully lifted his face from his arms, forcing his eyelids open to see. He saw the newcomers' movements were incredibly swift. They climbed onto the windowsill and jumped inside. Their long legs landed on the ground. Everything was perfectly smooth. Whoa, not bad. This cool aura is almost on par with his own. Chen Jiang started to get interested. His gaze slowly moved up. When he saw that cold, world-weary face, he was so startled that his sleepiness vanished completely. He shot straight up. Holy cow, Sis Liu. What in the world are you wearing? The atmosphere during this morning's self-study in Class 7 was very strange. Many people seemed to be reading, but their minds were somewhere else entirely. Every now and then, a student would pretend to casually turn their head, glancing towards the last row of seats. The person sitting in the corner was the school overlord, Liu Ruyan. But today, the overlord was wearing the school uniform. What in the world was going on? Yesterday afternoon, when school let out, the scene between Gubada and Liu Ruyan, almost the entire class had witnessed it. They had secretly treated Gubada's sarcastic remarks as a joke, happily gossiping about it all night. But as a result, they came to school today to see Liu Ruyan obediently wearing the school uniform. That slap in the face came so quickly and stung so much. What on earth did Liu Ruyan mean by this? No one could understand it. It was even harder to believe. Every few moments, people would glance at Liu Ruyan and then at Guibada. Their expressions were a mix of confusion and sly suggestion. Although Guibada was reading a book, he didn't miss the gazes directed his way. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl into a smirk. He just knew that Liu Ruyan was only harsh with him on the surface. In reality, she was very obedient to him. Coming to school was one thing, and wearing the uniform was another. Her coldness and aggression were all just an act. Her gentleness was reserved for someone willing to accept and embrace her. To be honest, he hadn't really expected Liu Ruyan to be this cooperative. Guibada was lost in his own sweet thoughts when two annoying sounds suddenly reached his ears. Annoyed, he looked up to find the source of the noise. He saw Song Ji up ahead, taking advantage of the moment, while the teacher was talking in the hallway, to signal me. I glanced out the window, mouthing "What's up?" To him. A paper ball whizzed over to my desk. I was afraid the homeroom teacher would see it, so I quickly grabbed the paper ball in my palm. Guibada reminded in a cold voice, "No passing notes during self-study. Because of my relationship with Song Ji, the relationship between Guibada and me has been very tense lately. I didn't want to get into another conflict with him, so I didn't answer. But I didn't read the note right away either. I always followed the rules during self-study. I waited until class was over to open it. The 4 big words, 'I can't accept it,' along with a long string of exclamation marks, were enough to prove how agitated Song Ji was. Xiao Fan. Song Ji called out to me from the front. Let's go. Let's go. Time for a bathroom break. Okay. I stuffed the note into my uniform pocket, grabbed some tissues, and walked out. Song Jie was waiting at the classroom door. As soon as I got there, he slung his arm around my shoulders and quickly pulled me away. It wasn't until we were a good distance away that he gritted his teeth and let out a string of curses. Damn it all to hell. Seeing his face filled with rage, I asked in confusion, "What's wrong? You don't know?" Song Jie's eyes widened. "Didn't you see that today? Liu Ruyan is wearing the school uniform. The school overlord, with that unique personality, I remember, didn't give a damn what a school uniform was. And today, she actually came to school obediently wearing it. Isn't that shocking enough? Isn't that earth-shattering enough?" "I saw it," I said slowly. These days, whenever I enter the classroom, I instinctively look over to Liu Ruyan's seat. As soon as I got to class today, I saw she was wearing the uniform. It was pretty surprising, I admit. Exactly. That's why Yim's so pissed off. Song Jai's cheeks puffed out in anger. The class president told her to wear it just yesterday, and today she's wearing it. Since when did she become so obedient? All our gossip groups are buzzing with rumors that Liu Ruyan is interested in the class president. Song Ji had started a gossip group back in middle school. The group was full of students from different schools. Normally, everyone would chat and make friends in the group, sharing news from their respective schools with each other. Hearing this, I couldn't help but ask, Liu Ruyan and the class president? That's right. This was what truly infuriated Song Jie. He shook my arm in frustration. No. This can't be happening. I can't accept it. Liu Ruyan can, like anyone, even if she likes a girl, likes a dog, or even likes a paramecium, I can accept all of that. But why would she like the class president? My image of her is completely shattered. I am going to lose my mind. I pursed my lips. I don't think there's anything between her and the class president. I still remembered the look in her eyes when she looked at me. The heat in them felt like it could burn me. Then why is she so obedient to the class president? Song Ji couldn't figure it out. Finally, he said, hopefully. Anyway, if she does have feelings for the class president, too ill just declare that. I was blind and completely misjudged her. I swear ill, never be her fan again. On the way back from the bathroom, a large crowd was gathered around Gui Bada. As I sat down, I happened to overhear someone asking Gui Bada in a suggestive tone, "Hey, class president, spill the beans. What's the deal with you and Liu Ruyan?" The entire crowd turned their eyes to him. Gui Bada covered his face with his hands. "Hey, don't talk nonsense, everyone. Liu Ruyan and I just have a pure classmate relationship. You're all overthinking it." "What do you mean, pure?" "Liu Ruyan is completely fearless. She doesn't even listen to the school disciplinarian. But you just said something, and she put on the uniform right away. How can that be just a classmate relationship? Come on, class president, tell us. Liu Ruyan is pursuing you, right?" Guy Bada's face turned beet red. "No, that's not it. Student Liu Ruyan listens to me out of respect for my position as class president. Please stop spreading baseless rumors." As he spoke, he turned his head to glance at Liu Ruyan. The girl in the uniform was still asleep, slumped over her desk. Regarding all of this, she was completely unaware. The people around them clicked their tongues meaningfully. Gui Bada let out a sigh. He deliberately put on a serious face and said, "It's true. Please stop spreading rumors. If she wakes up and finds out, if she gets angry, I am not taking responsibility. If you can't handle her, who can? You're the only one in our class who can manage her now. We'd love to manage her, but she only listens to you. Our great class president." Gui Bada didn't deny it. He just waved his hand to shoo everyone away. "Go on. Go on. Class is about to start. What are you still gathered here for? Everyone, get back to your seats." The bell rang right on cue. The first period was the homeroom teacher's English class. Everyone then burst into laughter and dispersed. The smile on Gui Bada's face hadn't faded. He pulled out his English book. When he looked out the window, he inadvertently glanced at my handsome face. For the first time, a sense of superiority bloomed in his heart. What's the use of being handsome? In the end, Liu Ruyan still listens to him, precisely because of Gui Bada's vague attitude, coupled with the fact that Liu Ruyan was actually wearing the uniform. The rumor about Liu Ruyan pursuing Gui Bada spread like wildfire. From 1 person to 10, and 10 to 100. Only 2 periods had passed in the morning, but the entire 11th grade already knew about it. During the break, it was time for exercises in the schoolyard. Liu Ruyan and Chen Jiang were still sleeping. Yu Shang didn't dare to call these big shots, so he specifically went to ask Gui Bada for help. "Class president, I heard the disciplinarian is going to check on the exercises today. Could you go wake them up for me?" Gui Bada pretended not to know and asked, "Why don't you go call them? You're the sports representative." After all, Yu Shang forced a laugh. "If I call them, they might not listen." "It's the same for me," Gui Bada said with a smile. "But since you've asked me, I'll give it a try. But I can't guarantee whether they'll listen or not." Yu Shang flattered him. "If you speak up, they'll definitely listen." Gui Bada's sense of vanity was satisfied. He was about to stand up and walk over, when Liu Ruyan, who had been slumped over her desk, suddenly pushed herself upright. She kicked Chen Jiang's leg, and then patted Bang Bing. "Let's go to the bathroom." Liu Ruyan, Gui Bada called out to her from a few steps away. The whole class suddenly fell silent. He continued, "There's an inspection for the exercises today. Can you guys not skip it again?" Song Ji couldn't stand Gui Bada's pretentious attitude. So, as soon as he finished speaking, he deliberately called out loudly, "Hey, Xiao Fan, hurry up. Let's go do the exercises. I am coming. Wait for me a bit." Liu Ruyan slightly raised her eyes. Not far ahead, the boy stood up from his seat and walked towards the classroom door. She saw the uniform on me, then looked down at her own. For the first time, she found this uniform pleasing to the eye. Gui Bada didn't get a response from Liu Ruyan, but he didn't mind. He assumed she was just pretending to be cool. She would surely go do the exercises obediently in a little while. So, after informing them, he left the classroom with a few other friends. Chen Jiang was now fully awake. Seeing Liu Ruyan in the uniform again, he still found it a bit hard to process. "Sis Liu, you look really scary in this outfit." "I think it looks great." Liu Ruyan shot him a glare. "Are you going to the bathroom or not?" "Of course. Actually, I've been holding it since the first period. But I was dreaming that I was at the top of the game rankings, so I didn't want to wake up at all. So I just kept on sleeping." Chen Jiang chuckled and stood up. The moment he moved slightly, his expression suddenly became tense and serious. "Oh no, let's go. Quick. My bladder is about to explode." Liu Ruyan cautiously backed away a little. "Don't you dare explode on me. I just changed my clothes." Chen Jiang looked clearly disappointed. So the first thing you think about isn't your brother's bladder, but this shabby uniform? What else? Liu Ruyan continued to stab him in the heart. Chen Jiang sighed dramatically. I am so tired. My heart is broken. Sis, is there no love left between us? Get lost. Liu Ruyan was disgusted by him. She snapped, stop your whining. Hurry up. Go to the bathroom. Then go do the exercises. Bai Ningbing frowned. Exercises? It's so hot outside. I don't want to go at all. Yeah, this school is so lame. Chen Jiang chimed in, but then he felt something was off. Huh, wait a minute. He staggered after her, leaning in close to scrutinize Liu Ruyan's face. Liu Ruyan shot him a withering glare, then pushed his head away. Why are you so close? Don't make me beat you up, right? Chen Jiang frowned. His eyes scanned her up and down like an X-ray. Sis Liu, you're not normal at all. What's been up with you lately? First you're coming to school on time. Then you're even wearing the uniform. Now you're even demanding to do exercises. Why are you listening to the class president like this? Could it be that you, towards the class president? As he said this, even he found it ridiculous. No way. And what about the school heartthrob? Sis Liu, between the class president and the school heartthrob, who do you choose? What does it have to do with that class president? Liu Ruyan was completely baffled. He told you to come to school, and you came. He told you to wear the uniform, and you wore it. He told you to do exercises, and you were about to go. You tell me if it's related or not. Chen Jiang raised an eyebrow at her. You listen to him that much. I am even starting to suspect you like him. Although Guiba Da can't